Good day. I am Dr. Marie Angeline Ganiban Casino, co-chair of the Information and Management Systems of the Hospital Research Unit. I will be introducing our lecturer for today. Dr. Ilian Dominic D. Eusebio is a fellow of the Philippine Orthopedic Association, Philippine Orthopedic Society for Sports Medicine, and Philippine Orthopedic Foot and Ankle Society. He was ranked number 1 in the diplomate examination given by the Philippine Board of Orthopedics in July 2017. He finished his bachelor's degree in public health at the University of the Philippines and his Doctor of Medicine in the same institution. He had his residency training in orthopedic surgery at the UPPGH and was the resident head. He became a clinical and research fellow in March to October 2017 and August 2018 to August 2019 at the St. Vincent's Foot and Ankle Clinic and St. Vincent's Sports Med in Sydney, Australia, respectively. He was a consultant at the Medical Center IMUS and San Pedro Calungsod Medical Center. He is an active consultant at the Lorma Medical Center, Bethany Hospital, and Ilocos Training and Regional Medical Center. Let us welcome the Chair of the Research Integrity of the Hospital Research Unit, to talk about literature search, Dr. Ilian Dominic D. Eusebio.
Good day, everyone. On behalf of the ITRMC Hospital Research Unit, welcome to the Research Lecture Series. Today, we will be decoding the literature review. I am Dr. Ilian Eusebio, a medical specialist 2 from the Department of Orthopedics. For this lecture, my disclosures is that I am the current chair of the Committee on Research Integrity. In our clinical practice, as in life, we are often faced with dilemmas, in this case, in the treatment of our patients. Because of these dilemmas, we often find ourselves at a loss in searching for the truth. The path is not often straight, and more so than ever, misinformation is rampant. In our quest for the truth, for the sake of our stakeholders, we cannot simply respect opinions. A process exists to determine the best possible course of action faced with any dilemma. And this process is called research. Here's a diagram of the universally accepted research process. The literature review often presents the first major roadblock in doing research. Thus, students and researchers often view it negatively. It has been called the dull or boring part of the whole research. However, it is still an integral step towards a meaningful and robust research. And this lecture will give you an idea why. So what is a literature review? The definition itself can be very confusing. In today's medical field, a literature review may encompass systematic reviews or meta-analyses, developing clinical practice guidelines, or even academic research. All of these are valid definitions of literature reviews, but for this lecture, we will be focusing on the literature review as it relates to academic research. Maggio and Sewell defines the literature review as follows. Think of your research as a part of the already ongoing conversation in the field. It is in the literature review that you will be able to find the right place in the conversation for you to enter. The literature review helps create a conceptual framework for your working hypotheses. With a comprehensive review, clear goals or objectives can be set. Synthesis of the current evidence also identifies the gaps, which your research may help fill. Careful selection of previous studies also provides framework with which to base your methodology and research techniques. A good literature review must have the following qualities. I would like to emphasize, however, that in doing research, you just cannot cherry-pick data. Including only arguments that support your own is not only biased, but dangerous. Your literature review should be balanced, meaning citing articles that both reinforce and weaken your point of view. The analysis should be critical. in both the content and the source. Personal judgments should be avoided in favor of facts based on evidence. We must approach the literature review, therefore, like a jigsaw puzzle. Often in puzzles, we build them in segments. This allows us to map the gaps. In doing a literature review, you can start creating the map with an effective search of related literature. We should cast our nets wide at first to ensure that most of the relevant information is obtained. The literature search from both PubMed and Medline represent the largest collection of researches in the planet. There is, however, the gray literature, unpublished works or works that fly just under the publication radar. When appraised critically, the gray literature can be a valuable source of alternative information. For example, ongoing theses or unpublished works of authors. In doing research, it is important to define early on our inclusion and exclusion criteria, and this helps make our search more efficient. So now, after the search, you have collected 200 journal articles in 200 open tabs in your browser, and you are now officially buried in paperwork. This is where the literature review process can bog down. Fortunately, organizing your data is the next step. A comprehensive yet critical appraisal of the literature you have obtained ensures that only the relevant information are included. Again, I have to emphasize that relevant does not mean only those that agree with your hypothesis. You must make it a point to include data that disagrees with your hypothesis. You can also organize your evidence by its level, giving priority to those with a higher level of evidence, therefore minimizing the effect of confounders and bias. Your note-keeping skills will be put to the test in doing a literature review. New citation software like Mendeley and EndNote may help you. They also allow you to instantly cite the articles you are drawing from and organizes your bibliographies accordingly. Once you have done your organization, it's now time to write everything down. Unfortunately, there is no magic number or minimum number of articles required for your research. Remember, use and cite as many articles as you need to place your research in the context of the ongoing conversation. When you have already performed your experiment, it is also important to go back to your literature review to be able to compare and contrast your work with those that you have cited. What are the critical similarities or differences between your work and theirs? How then will your research affect the current paradigms? For effective literature writing, I strongly suggest that you read Lingard's Writer's Craft series. It is free to download via PubMed. Just use the information below. So now that we have an idea of what the literature review is, let's go back to the research process. We realized that the literature review is not just one step. We utilize it in all the parts of the research, always going back to it to be able to contextualize our research. Rather than a step, we can think of the literature review as an ongoing process. We are living in the age of information, where data is freely available and readily accessible. We must learn to use this gift properly because it is prone to abuse. And if we are not careful, it is easy to fall victim to misinformation and bias. The literature review is an important tool that helps us make sure that the information we have is accurate so that our decisions can be guided by the truth. Map the gap, create your conceptual framework, and utilize the research strategies at your disposal. And please, use your critical thinking, the correct critical thinking. Since this lecture is only a few minutes long, further information may be obtained from the references that I used. Thank you very much and good day.